Now let's look at sample images of this microscope BUM800FL series. We have connected a USB 3 CMOS camera, which is 2.3 megapixel, and it has 1/1.8 inches, almost half-inch sensor size, and we are using 0.5x C-mount adapter. To evaluate the image quality of this microscope, we are going to use a $20 bill, Canadian dollar. So now we are looking at 4x objective lens, and the image is in bright field mode. So you can see a couple of basically green, white, and red dots over there. So we turn off the bright field, we switch to UV light, and we expect a blue. We can adjust the exposure. So basically I do a minimal gain and we play with the exposure time, and you can expect the blue dots with black background. And next I switch to green, and again I'm doing auto exposure initially to give you the idea of the image quality, and we come back to manual mode and we change the exposure again. We increase it to see some green fluorescent dots over there. And next we switch to green excitation, red emission, and let's do auto exposure first. Turn off the auto exposure, switch to manual, and you can see by playing with the exposure time we can expect some red dots here. Maybe we can tune the focus a little bit to get the sharp image, but obviously the bill is not flat. Next we switch to 10x. Now let's start with bright field. Auto exposure mode, so which is not bad in the bright field mode. Just to get an idea of the image quality, we switch to UV light, and again we do manual exposure, and I keep the gain at the minimum, but then the combination is sort of personal interest. I like this level, and I try to have the maximum black background if we can. And next I switch to green, and we can look at auto exposure to see how it looks like, and we keep the exposure target at the minimal. This is not bad, but if we like to get a perfect image, we need to play with the exposure, gamma, and maybe some other factors. Let's go to red, and again the gain is at the minimal, and maybe for the red we can do focusing, and at the right side you can see some very great sharp dots. And we switch to 20x, come back to bright field. Let's do auto exposure for a second. So as you see, we go higher magnification, the focus will be a little bit challenging, and we turn off this, go to UV light, and we adjust the exposure time, and depending on which region of this we are interested, we can focus on that. Maybe I try to have somewhere in the middle and these blue dots rather than the black blue region. I go to green. In the green we have very good fluorescence at several places, and some of them basically comes from the green background as well. And next is red dots, and these are not bad as is. Now we switch to 40x objective lens, and again I like to start from bright field initially, and we look at the same place we did initially. So this will be again challenging in terms of the focus, but we try to get a good image from this. Okay, let's turn off the bright field. We switch to UV light. I'm going to play with the exposure time. And also a little bit with the focus. Switch to green. Maybe we move the sample. Next we go to green excitation and red emission, and this is 40x. Next we switch to 60x objective lens, and I like to come back again to bright field initially, just to see the image. Alright. So let's turn off the auto exposure, play with the focus, and this will be very challenging at this magnification, as the image is not flat at all. So I switch to green. And then red. Can move the sample it will be again very difficult to get a very sharp image of this BO, and we can come back to previous light as well.